All right, so now that we have our account, we've set up our class, we've started adding students. Now it's time to actually start using some of the tools to create learning experiences for students. So the first thing we're going to talk about is this Get Responses tool up here. This is the quick way to just get students to respond to stuff that you've talked about in class. So I'll go ahead and hit Click Response, and that will take me to a dialog that says Create a New Recap. So I'm going to say Science for whatever today's date is. So that'll be the topic, essentially. And then your questions will come next. So I might say, what are the stages of the water cycle? That might be question 1. You can add multiple questions. So question 2 might be, describe what condensation is. And you can add a whole pile of questions. I'm not going to do a bunch. Now I can record a video to kind of introduce this topic and these concepts about students that they'll be responding to. So I'll click record video. That'll bring up a video recorder and you'll see yourself on here using your webcam. So, whoops, I want to go back to question 1. So let me go to question 1 and record a video to go along with it first. So a good thing to remember is that depending on the question you're highlighted, the video will be different. So make sure you're on question 1 if you want to record a video about question 1. So I'm going to record video, and you get 5 minutes. I have never actually taken 5 minutes to give that kind of context for the activity. But what you'll want to do here is, if you're just going to record the question, you might not need to even do a video, and it is optional. You don't have to. But I always like to engage the student in discussion style. So I would record. It'll give you a countdown. Hey, class, we've been really working on that water cycle. I'm excited to know about all the stuff that you're learning about it. And the first thing I'd really like to know is, what are the stages? Just kind of basically give me a rundown on what they are, maybe what you know about them, maybe a little bit about how the water cycle works. Just make it clear to me that you kind of understand the parts of the water cycle and how water cycles through our environment. So I'll just hit the stop button when I'm done recording, and then I will have a video preview so I can watch this. Hey, class, we've been really working on that water cycle. So if I nailed it, I can hit next. If I need to re-record, I'll hit over here. I'm going to not record that again. I'll just click next, and it will upload this video. And now there's a video attachment for question 1. I could do the same thing for question 2. I'm not going to, though. So I'll hit next now that I'm done with this. This will bring me to a little options menu for that question as it goes out. I can assign this to my classes. It can be multiple classes. So I can go ahead and pick Mr. Howard's ELA 7 and formative assessment training. You also have the option of assigning by student as well. So if I pick this class and go to select, I can pick other classes too. And so once you get into a class, you can actually, one of the cool things about it is that you can differentiate by sending different questions to different students. So once you have, if you have groups of kids that learn differently, you can assign different questions to different kids based on whatever reasoning that you have. I'm just going to go ahead and assign this to ELA 7. Down here you have your option of the time that kids have to explain. You have between 15 seconds and 2 minutes, and the video will cut them off. So you want to give them plenty of time. 30 should be enough for this. You also have the option to allow students to self-assess at the end of their question, and this will just be they will click this button. It'll either got it partially or didn't. I'm going to turn that on because I like that as a reflection piece. And then over here is the due date, so you can tell students will know when this is due. So they might know that they have a couple of days that they need to go think about it a little bit and then go respond at a later date. So I have this assigned. I'm going to go and click send. And so now that class is going to have an assignment. So what does that look like for a student? That's a great question. Let's go and talk about that. So I'm going to go back to my student account, which is here. And since they have logged into my class, they'll see their class on their dashboard, but they will also see where it says one new recap here. So if they open up this class, they're going to see that assignment that I just put up. So they will want to click. Obviously, they'll see like the due date and all that kind of stuff, but they'll then need to respond to it before the due date. So when it comes time for students to respond, they will click over here where it says respond now. they will get an opportunity to review the questions. Hey, class, we've been really working on that water cycle. I'm excited to know about all the stuff that you're learning. All right, so I'm going to respond to this question first. So as a student, I'll click respond down here. It'll open up my webcam. Hello again. And I will record. I have 30 seconds. Oh, Mr. Howard, I know all about the water cycle. I know that you got evaporation, then you got condensation, you got precipitation, and probably some other ones that I'm not remembering because I'm not a science teacher, but there's something else. There's another one. But anyway, water cycle's super baller, and I love it, and I want to hear more about it from your class. So thanks for being the best teacher in the world, and I can't wait to come in and learn more about science in your language arts class again tomorrow. Thanks a lot, Mr. Howard. You rock. Okay, so it'll process that. A student has the same options. They can watch their response. I know all about the water cycle. I know that you got it. Okay, so I will click next because I am satisfied with that answer. And that will bring me to question 2, describe what condensation is. So I'm going to respond to that one next. Yo, Mr. Howard, condensation, that's when you got water and then like it evaporates up into the sky. And then it starts to come together and it makes clouds. And so condensation is when it condenses into a larger body. So condensation is when clouds are made. That's why condensation is my favorite part of the water cycle, because I think clouds are pretty awesome. So then they can review, blah, blah, blah. Next and done. And so now it'll ask them, how do you think that you did? Assess yourself. Bam, I got it. I was awesome. So here it is. I'm going to click next, and then it'll say, great job. Who's super awesome? Millennials get their little star ribbon here. So submit. And so now that's finished. And so as a teacher, though, I can go back in. I can click on this class, and then under my response tab, I will start to collect my students' responses. And so we'll get more into this later, but you get the data that student responded to, how they did it. And then down below, you'll have all of your students' videos. So this is this kid, but then any kid that did it, I would have their video individualized below down here. And so that's pretty cool, because then I can go through and watch each individual student. I get data about how they think they did. But the thing that makes this really cool is that they give you this option of the daily review reel. And what the daily review reel is it will kind of cut together all of your video responses from your entire class. So you don't have to click through every single kid. You can just watch the highlight reel with all of the kids' responses in it together. And so they do a pretty good job of like making this look nice and kind of... Mr. Howard, I know all about the water cycle. I know that you got evaporation, then you got condensation, you got precipitation, and probably some other ones that I'm not remembering because I'm not a science teacher, but there's something else, there's another one. But anyway, water cycle's super baller, and I love it, and I want to hear more about it from your class. So thanks for being the best teacher. All right, so then I could then watch basically all those things cut together, or I can come down here and I can watch this kid's response. I know that you got evaporation, then you got condensation, you got precipitation. And then if you want to provide feedback, by clicking down here, I can get a chance to say, great job, you got it, bro. And add that. And then that student will then see that when they go back in to their class, they will get a response. I made an ugly typo there, but they'll be able to see the feedback that they have been given on that task. So that's responses, and that's how you'll use Recap the most. Next, we'll talk about creating a journey, and we'll get into that in the next video.